Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and I do beauty and lifestyle videos here on my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing another Makeup Mommy Monday video. Before we get into the video, if you guys haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week. Also, I have an Instagram account, so if you guys want to follow me on there, make sure to do that. But let's just get right into the video. So last week's topic was a little deep. I talked about postpartum and just my experience with that. If you guys didn't see that video and you guys want to check it out, I will link it right here for you guys so you guys can go check that video out. But for today, I want to kind of talk about something that I'm still struggling with, and I feel like a lot of moms struggle with this, and that's mom guilt. I'm just going to share with you guys my experience because it's been rough. So I've been experiencing mom guilt since basically I got pregnant. And I don't know if I'm the only one. I feel like I probably won't be, but there's something when you get pregnant. I started to get unsolicited advice from everybody without even me asking. And it got to the point where I became self-conscious of becoming a mother and just kind of it was just overwhelming, and I started to stress myself out. You know, I started to research a bunch of things, you know, seeing what's good, what's bad, and people, I don't know, it was just very stressful. When it comes to my family, I know that they meant well. You know, they just want to give me advice and want me to do things right. But when it comes to being a mom, there is no manual, there is no right or wrong answer. And I felt like there was. I felt like there had to be an answer for everything. There had to be like one way that was like the best way to do something, and everything else was just bad. So I really stressed myself out with that. You know, I took a lot of lactation classes. I took a lot of baby classes. You know, me and my husband went to a lot of them. Like, it was insane how many we went to, just because I wanted to be overly prepared. But it just kind of ended up biting me in the ass in the long run, because I became so overwhelmed with a bunch of information that I just didn't know where to start. And a lot of the information that I did learn, I didn't even implicate it into my life because it just didn't fit well with what I wanted to do as a mom. So do you guys get me? I don't know if you guys get me. I started to read a lot of articles. There's this app called The Bump, and it basically gives you updates on like your baby, on yourself, your symptoms and all that. And there is a forum there where a lot of moms can like ask questions and talk to each other. So I find myself diving into a lot of those types of forums just to kind of get information from different types of moms. And one of the things that really stressed me out from the beginning, from even before having Luca, was the topic of breastfeeding. I knew that I wanted to breastfeed Luca just because, you know, you hear a lot of the benefits, and they even say that like that's one of the biggest ways to bond with your baby, you know, breastfeeding and all of that. So I did a lot of research on that, and everybody, not everybody, I'm exaggerating, a lot of people in my family said like breastfeeding was important, you know, like you should, you know, breast is the best. Isn't that like a saying that people say? So that was something that was very like I needed to do kind of thing. So after I had Luca, I tried it, only did it for like about 3 months, and then I stopped. It was just getting very overwhelming. It was getting very hard for me. I started to get engorged. I started to get very sick. It was just a lot. So I decided to switch to formula. It wasn't what I initially wanted to do, but I did some research on, you know, different types of formula, and I decided to go with Similac. And when I tell you guys, the amount of guilt that I felt during that time was insane. It was really, really bad, and it wasn't even from my family. I would go to like Luca's doctor's appointments, and there would be times where I would have to feed him, and when I would take out to do his formula, I would catch a bunch of ladies looking at me, like senora ladies. Like, they would just look at, like, you know, and you get this sense of like shame and guilt, because a lot of people feel like, obviously because you grow milk inside of you, you know, you're supposed to feed breast milk to your baby. And honestly, in a perfect world, I would have loved to do that for a longer period of time than what I did, but it just wasn't for me. But I felt really, really guilty. I felt really bad because a lot of people judged me on that. A lot of people. It wasn't even just family, you know, it was strangers, other moms that I kind of talked to, my doctor even, she just like kept telling me, just try to do it, try to do it. If you can, it would be best. Like she was pushing me to do breast milk. Like, oh my God, and to the point where I just felt really bad that I wasn't doing it anymore. So that was a really tough situation where I felt mom guilt, just because a lot of people judge you, man, and it sucks. You don't realize it until you become a mom, and you don't realize how I feel like people don't notice that you can tell that they're judging you. And I feel so bad now, because before, when I would go to like the store and stuff, there would be like a kid crying hysterically, and I would be looking at them like, oh my God, can't you shut your kid up? Like, what the hell? Why is he being so loud? Like, when I have a kid, I'm never going to be like that. And now I have Luca, a toddler that makes tantrums in the store. And you just don't understand until you're a mom. So I feel like we shouldn't judge other people, because they could probably be going through stuff. They can be feeling guilty already, and then you judging them just kind of brings even more into that guilt that they already feel. So anyways, another thing that I feel like I'm always kind of like ugh about, and I feel like a lot of people kind of judge me on it, especially my family, even though they don't say anything, I feel like they do judge me, is the fact that I'm such a helicopter mom with Luca, and I'm so like overprotective of him. My mom especially, oh my God, I love my mom, but she is like the biggest critic when it comes to like me being a mom. But eventually I just kind of learned, and this is not easy, to not give a fuck, you know, to kind of like be whatever. When you become a mom, you just kind of put all of your attention into your baby. And this doesn't even only happen with moms, it happens with dads as well. I found me and my husband together, everything we would do it around Luca's time, you know, like when he needs to take a nap, when he needs to get fed. We arranged everything around him, as it should be. But a lot of people would judge us because they felt like we were helicopter parents and just Luca, 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 and we just kind of forgot about ourselves. And I found a lot of people just judging us for that. And let's say, yeah, I feel like me and Alex, my husband, we probably did go a little bit like overboard. You know, we were probably a little too intense, but we're first time parents, and I feel like a lot of people gave me crap about it, but they don't realize that I'm going through this for the very first time. Me and my husband were going through this for the very first time, and I'm pretty sure those people that were critiquing me or judging me have gone through those same things the first time they were parents. Some people were giving me advice and they're not even parents, so I just don't get it. One person that I really do love, and one person that I really, really trust giving me advice, is my sister Tanya. She has not only like a lot of experience with kids, but she gives me advice in a way where I know she's not being judgmental. And she'll give me her experience, and even though she's not a mom yet, she's just so good with giving advice and being non-judgmental. And that's someone that I can call in the middle of the night and say, oh my God, something's wrong with my baby, I need advice, you know, or sometimes I just need a vent. You know, I know that she is not going to judge me, and I feel like that's so important when you're experiencing like mom guilt, and stuff like that. Find someone that you can go to, that you can lean on, and just kind of talk it out with. It's so important to have that, especially you know, being a new mom. Sometimes when I'm over exaggerating or feeling guilty of something, she just is like, Jessica, you're doing fine, you're doing a good job, like stop overreacting. One of the big things that I've kind of learned from experiencing mom guilt, and I feel like a lot of moms experience this, is giving yourself self-care. And I'll probably go more into detail in another video, but essentially what I'm trying to say is you should not feel guilty for giving yourself me time. And I feel like there would be times where I would want to go out with my sisters or my friends, or just have like a date night with my husband. I would find myself guilty because I'd be like, oh my God, I can't just leave my baby. Even though he can be in the best care possible, I just felt guilty and I just did not want to do it. So I would stay home or I would try to take my baby with me. And I've learned that that's not healthy. And there would be times, guys, where I would go out, and even though nobody says anything, you know, I would hang out. Like there was this one time I went out with my sisters, and they didn't say anything. I feel like because they understand. Um, but now that I think about it, I feel like if I was in their position, I would have been so annoyed with myself because we would be hanging out and I would be on my phone texting my husband to send me pictures of my baby, and I was just on my phone trying to look at pictures, telling him what is he doing, um did you feed him, send me pictures, send me updates. And I don't know why they didn't say anything. If I was them, I would have been like, bitch, if you were going to be on your phone this much, you should have just stayed home, like I would have told myself that. um but I felt like they just didn't want. They're like, oh, she's a mom, just leave her alone. But it is kind of annoying. So I kind of learned to not feel guilty in that sense. Understand that it's okay to have like a little baby break. Give yourself some you time, and go out and take care of yourself. Because if you're not happy, or if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't love yourself, you're not gonna do the best as you can as a mom. You know what I mean? So you really have to give yourself some love, and that's okay, and you shouldn't feel guilty because of that. That was something that I had to really work on. Now when I go out with my sisters, they're like, oh, do you want to bring Luca? I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to. And it's not that I don't like want to be with him, it's just that it's really important to give yourself some you time. So I feel like I've done a lot better in that sense. Even with like my husband, I feel like we're always talking about Luca. So before we go to bed, after we put Luca to sleep, we'll like chill out in our living room, have some drinks or something, and we'll just talk about our day. We'll talk about us, our relationship, stuff that we want to do. We really try not to talk about Luca. Sometimes we'll slip in a little conversation about him, but for the most part, we try not to do that because we talk about him like every other like part of the day. So I feel like this is like our time to kind of reconnect and be together. If you're like a mom and you feel guilty of going out or leaving your baby behind, don't do that. You really need to give yourself some self-care. That was something that I really had to work on. And I know that I'm still gonna have to work on it. My baby's barely gonna be 2. So I have a lot to experience. I'm still a new mom in that sense. But I feel like I have done a lot better than when I started. I feel like I was beating myself up so much, with every little single thing. Another thing that I feel like a lot of moms just kind of beat themselves up about is your baby not reaching their milestones. And I was one of them. Like I said before having Luca, I researched a ton of stuff. I researched, when they're supposed to crawl, when they're supposed to walk, when they're supposed to talk, all of those things. And now that Luca's about to be 2, I'm being completely honest, he is not where I would want him to be. But again, I feel like every baby goes in their own pace. He didn't start walking until after 1 years old. And that kind of made me feel bad because everybody in my family was giving their advice. Well, like, oh, well, my kids started walking when they were like 7 months. Well, my baby started walking when he was 8 months, 9 months, all this. Your baby's not walking yet. It did kind of make us feel worried, it made me and my husband feel like, well, what are we doing wrong? But by the time Luca turned 1, I think like a little month after that, he just started to go wild. And I remember my sister Tanya telling me, you know what, you need to enjoy him where he is now, because when he starts walking, girl, you ain't gonna get a break. And she was right, because now he's running and just making a mess everywhere. And I did beat myself up about that, and it's real. You do all these things, and you just kind of feel guilty. And now at this moment, I am experiencing that again, not with the walking, but with Luca's speech. He is taking speech therapy. It's a whole long story, but I did feel really guilty because I feel like maybe it was something that I didn't do right. Because he's just not wanting to talk, guys. Like, he says little words here and there, but he's just very like silent Sam. And he's going to like therapy. I took him to some doctor's appointments, and he's still pretty young, he's not even 2 yet. And there's kids that talk after 2. But I feel like, especially since I worked at a Montessori school for a while, I babysat a lot of kids for a while and stuff like that, I did see a lot of kids before one starting to say words. By the time they're two, they would say little phrases. So I found myself comparing and just feeling really bad, because I'm like, well, my baby is not where he's supposed to be. And it's my fault because he's a baby. He can't control that. It must be something that I'm doing wrong. So I'll beat myself about that, guys. And I'm still experiencing that now. I can't say that, well, I've learned. I can't say that because I'm going through it right now. What would you guys do? Leave it in the comments below, because I feel like I do beat myself up about that a lot. I feel like I go through something and I overcome it, and then something else comes out, and then people just start judging me, and it's not like my family, they don't come from a bad place, but I do find myself, like, my parents, they'll call me like, ¿Qué te dijeron el doctor? Like, what did they tell you? How's Luca? Is he sick? Why isn't he talking? And you just get very overwhelmed, and you're just like, well, I don't know, I'm taking him to therapy. They said that hopefully, after a few sessions, his speech will improve. And they're like, but why is he like that? Like if he wasn't normal. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, this is my first time experiencing this as a mom, like, I don't have all the answers. And I feel like that's something that really triggers the mom guilt, because I don't have the answers. And I wish I did have the answers, but I don't. And it just gets really, really frustrating. But I mean, what can I do? So something that I'm going through now, how am I coping with it? I feel like me and my husband are such a great team when it comes to that, and we just support each other, and just, there's times where I feel like breaking down and crying because I feel like I'm not doing a good job as a mom, and I feel like I'm failing my baby, and my husband's there just to kind of tell me like, no, you are, and then there's times where he feels like he's not doing enough, and I tell him, no, you are. Like, we just kind of support each other, and I feel like that's so important. And that's one way that I've been really kind of going through this whole mom guilt situation. One of the big things that a lot of people kind of judge other parents on also, is screen time. So I do give my little baby boy some screen time. I let him watch TV and do all that stuff. Sometimes we watch movies. He's obsessed with Coco, all that stuff. And I remember when they came to evaluate him for his speech therapy, they told me if I gave him some screen time. And I said yes, because I'm not going to lie, obviously. And they gave me the meanest stare ever. And I felt like, oh my God, I felt like something in my stomach dropped. I felt like I needed to take a shit, guys. Like, I felt like I was gonna have diarrhea and it was gonna come out. And like, there was like 4 ladies here, and my little baby boy was just like, and I'm just, it was just intense. And I felt really, really bad, because they kind of just looked at me with this judgment, like, oh my God, why are you giving him screen time? Like, he should not be watching TV at all. And I'm just like, well, he loves Mickey Mouse. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I feel like you have to do what's right for your family. And I feel like everything in moderation is nice. Like, I don't let him watch it every second of the day. I do give him a little bit of screen time. But I don't think I'm gonna eliminate. I don't know. I just beat myself up about a lot of those things. And a lot of people just judge, man. They need to stop judging. They judge me a lot. And I felt really crappy at the time, man. But even with like food, I don't give my baby, I pretty much give him like homemade cooked meals. I try to cook as much as possible, especially with him. There are times where like we're out and I'm like, well, I'm gonna get him some chicken nuggets, and he loves chicken nuggets. But even that time, like, there's people that judge me for that, and you just feel guilty, because I feel like nowadays, especially becoming a new mom and going to these mommy classes, so many people kind of focus on, you need to cut out everything that's not organic or that is junk food. You need to give them no screen time. You need to be aware of how many like toys you buy them. You need to be aware of what, like, there's people that use cloth diapers, and I use disposable diapers because I just clean them and throw them out. Like, I just put him on a diaper. When he dirties it, I clean his little tushy, throw out the diaper. And there's people that use cloth diapers, which is totally fine if you want to go that route. I know it's a lot better for the environment, but I'm just not one of those people. And I'm telling you, there's people that will judge you for whatever, like for every little single thing that you do. And it sucks. So, I mean, I'm not a perfect mom. I'm trying to do the best that I can with my baby boy. And I don't have like a rule book. I'm just going with the flow. Mom guilt is something that I feel like a lot of moms don't talk about, especially like in the like Mexican community. I can't say for all Mexicans, but I'm Mexican and within my family, a lot of people don't talk about like their struggles. Like they don't talk, like with their moms. Everybody thinks like they're perfect mothers, which is fine. But then I'm here sitting like really, and you know, because I'm not a perfect mother, you know. And then people would judge other people on everything that they do. So it's just really hard, guys. Motherhood, I feel like, is the hardest job you will ever do, because you're literally bringing life into this world. You're going to be in charge of this little baby for 18 years. So the way you decide to raise them and like the way you decide to teach them on things is how they're going to be as an adult. And that is a lot of pressure. And I'm going to be real. Sometimes I cry at night because it's a lot of pressure. And I just don't know what to do. And I'm just looking at myself in the monitor and I look really crazy with all this powder. Let me take it out. Is this red cute? I don't know. I feel like because of the mom guilt, that really just enhanced the postpartum depression that I was experiencing. I feel like that's probably one of the major reasons why I did go through postpartum depression, was just feeling guilty of not doing enough, you know? You look at your baby, and I look at my baby. Oh my God. I feel like one of the main things, and I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but Luca, he got sick a lot this year. He got sick like probably like five times, maybe 5, 6 times. He got like an ear infection. He had a lung infection, and that lung infection scared me to death. Like it was to the point where I feel like there was one time he was sleeping, and I woke up because I heard the baby monitor, and he was having such a hard time breathing. I literally was almost gonna call 911 until like I just kind of picked him up and he started to calm down. So I had like a really crazy like panic attack just because I thought something was gonna happen to him. But that's like such a scary situation because you really beat yourself up. You beat yourself up about everything. I remember, because Luca has gotten sick a lot, there was this family member. I'm not gonna say who it was, but they know who they are. They told me, well, see, because you decided not to breastfeed, this is what's happening. Poor baby just keeps getting sick. He's not strong. If you would have gave him breast milk, this would have never happened. And when I tell you, I went home and cried like a baby. I did that, and I felt so guilty because that's something that I was so insecure about already. That was something like I regret to myself. I feel like I should have tried harder to like breastfeed him. I feel like they knew too, because I had expressed that to them, that I was kind of like, oh, about breastfeeding, and that I switched to formula. And I always tried to be like, I don't care, like I'm just doing me, you know, to other people. I tried to make it seem like I'm this tough person and I can take anybody's shit, and I'm not like a little baby, you know. Like I try to be tough, especially now that I have a baby. You know, I try to have thick skin, but sometimes it does get to me, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Can't find. I find something. But yes, sometimes it does get to me and I feel very sad. And that was one of the times where I just was like, oh, it's like a punch in the face, man. I just felt really bad about it. So after that person said that to me, I kind of just distanced myself because I just didn't like that they said that. Or every single time I would like, you know, share my experience or something that I was going through, they decided to just kind of make it about themselves and just say, well, like when I was, you know, when I had my baby, or when I did this, like it was, I feel like they weren't trying to help me. They were just trying to make me feel bad, you know. And you have to really understand, there's some people that just find joy in your misery, you know, like misery loves company. Is that the saying? I'm not sure. That specific person, there was multiple times when I felt bad or felt mom guilt, they just kind of enhanced that guilt. And I didn't really think about it until I took a step back and I was like, oh, makes sense. I'm out. Guilt is kind of like your period. It comes and goes. Well, for me, because my period is kind of like irregular. You know, it comes and goes, stays for a couple of days, goes away, comes back. You know, it's usually like little times. And for me, that's how it's been. You know, it comes and goes. There's times where I go through it and I feel really bad, but then I remind myself, you know what? You're a good mom. You're a badass bitch. You're doing a good job. And then I get over it. So it's just something that moms go through. Some moms go through it harder than others. Does that minimize their experience? No. But you just kind of had to go through it, you know? All right, guys, so this is the finished look. I decided to do like this glam look. I really like how it came out. I decided not to do lashes because I feel like for these videos, a lot of moms might watch this video. So I feel like I should do something that's not too much, but still cute. So if you're a mom and you don't know how to put lashes, or you just don't have time to put on lashes, you can still do a full glam without them. So that's why I wanted to do this video. I feel like a lot of like Monday videos are going to be either glam looks, easy to do, or simple, easy to do, cute looks. You know, like a mix. But yeah, just to sum it all up, if you're a mom and you're watching this video, and you're beating yourself up about it, you're feeling guilty about your baby or babies, or children in general, if you are experiencing any type of mom guilt, whether it's giving your baby formula and not breastfeeding, or leaving your baby in daycare to go to work, whatever it is, anything in between, just know that you're doing a really good job and stop beating yourself up about it. Because if I only have a toddler and I have a crazy amount of mom guilt, I can only imagine how moms with 2, 3, 4 children feel like. Being a mom is not easy, and you already have so much on your plate. Adding guilt and just doubting yourself doesn't help. So just know that you're doing a good job. Give yourself a break, give yourself some you time, do some self-love, self-care for yourself, because you deserve it. Don't feel guilty while doing that. Your baby loves you and your baby knows that you love them. So you shouldn't feel bad for giving yourself some love. But yeah, that's it for today's video. It was kind of all over the place, but just kind of wanted to talk about this topic because I know that it's very common in mamas. And yeah, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will leave all of my social media links down below so you guys can go check me out on there. See you next time.